I've just got back from Watches and Wonders and I'm here to give you the highlights and the lowlights. Let's get into it. Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector channel. Today I'm going to talk about my highlights of Watches and Wonders, because a big thank you to Spencer from That Watch Guy London and BQ Watches. I went. Yes, the powerful triangle team of Kaylee, Gavin and myself set off on a Jet2 flight Friday afternoon. It took about an hour and 20 minutes to get there. I'll give you 3 guesses who the brand was that made all the clocks for the airport in Geneva. You didn't need the second or third guess, did you? So in a taxi from the airport to our hotel in central Geneva, the Hotel Cristal, which to be honest felt like we were not only staying in a hotel but also a futuristic prison cell from the film The Island. Anyway, plonked our bags in the room and set off for a lovely Italian where I had an absolutely gorgeous calzone, then got back to the hotel, had a decent sleep.
As decent as you can do without a headboard on a bed.
Nice little eggy and bacon croissant followed by a latte, then we were off to Watches and Wonders. Oh, one more thing, I forgot to tell you the watch I took on my journey. It took some time for me to decide which watch I was going to take. A little bit too long to be fair. But in the end, I took my little vintage 1990s Fortis Cosmonauts chronograph. 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to take it back to the country where it was born. This little beauty probably hadn't seen Switzerland for over 30 years. And the second reason was there was no way anyone else at Watches and Wonders were going to be wearing the same watch as me.
I was that close to bringing a Casio.
So into this 2023 exhibition, it was huge. I was completely blown away at the scale of this thing. Like 4 times bigger than my local shopping centre. The insides of this place looked like it had been here forever. I was pleasantly surprised how many young people there were walking about, and very excited how concentrated
All in one place.
a load of watch nerds were. The brands had shaped into some amazing creative and immersive spaces. My favourite stall of the whole place had to be at IWC. They released a huge watch for them, a reissue of a watch Gerald Genta designed in 1976, the Engineer. It was as if you went back in time into those 1970s. There were retro tellies, retro cars. What I loved the most though was that IWC were the only company where they had brought testing equipment they do on their watches, like the waterproof test, the air pressure test. They had contraptions where they were able to wear the movement 10 years to see how the lubricants did in the mechanical parts. It really was something cool to see. Now I've got to be honest, that 70s integrated bracelet design with the portholey bezel, I am completely done with now. In fact, I would say almost 65% of all the brands that were at Watches and Wonders either had a Gerald Genta designed watch or a Gerald Genta inspired watch. From your Barman Mercier to even a brand like Bell & Ross. But we gotta talk about Gimmicks. Yes, it was a running theme. Obviously, if you've got a least popular watch brand, you gotta make your pitch very inviting. And it seemed the more popular the watches, the least immersive the stalls were. Prime examples from both scales. Rolex basically just had a museum with photos and watches. But if we go to Robert Dubuis, Christ almighty, God knows what was going on in here. I guarantee at the end of that day, there were at least 5 people that had an epileptic fit. But it was quite futuristic-y, definitely made you intrigued and interested to go inside. Once inside, I wasn't bothered with the watches at all, and then we walked out. Also, just to the side of the stall, they had a watch in a display that was floating. Oh my gosh. And we could not understand or work out how this was working. If you can tell us at home, I would be very grateful. Couldn't see any wires at all. You had Bell & Ross with a great 3-dimensional display just to show how their sandwich design of their cases worked. That was really cool. Panerai felt a little bit claustrophobic. Suddenly you were in the ocean, sails everywhere, people tripping over guide ropes. It was hard to stay in one place for too long in Panerai. Grand Seiko was on the other end of the scale on Gimmicks. Inside, I think they only showcased 3 watches. Their big watch to showcase was the Tentograph, their first automatic chronograph watch, and they had to go and ruin it with a date window. Tag Heuer had a lovely vintage Porsche in their stall. Can't remember the watches though. Zenith had a lot of beautiful new watches, but the only one I was drawn to, like a beta honey, was that El Primero. One day, Zenith, I'm going to own you. I had to get my picture with the Oris Bear. Who was dressed best? Comments below. Talking of more gimmicks, a Langensong. It looked like they just made their brand new release, the Odysseus chronograph for King Kong. They even showed the exhibition case back.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Obviously, every man and his dog came to see two very popular brands. They were the ones that had the Qs first. Obviously, I am talking about Tudor and Rolex. The Q was actually for an exhibition of the Daytona. So that whole building was based around the Cosmograph. But it was very cool to see the first Rolex chronographs, the Paul Newman Daytonas. There was nothing about the 70th anniversary of the Submariner. Do they actually think that the first Submariner came out in 1954? So are they going to have a big bash next year? Or do they not really see 70 years as a big birthday? Will it be 75? Anyway, all of Rolex's new watches were around the outside of the building. I was quite surprised how much I liked the Celebration OP. It's a bit of fun. The titanium Yachtmaster looked very tooley, looked very good. Would still prefer the Pelagos 39, but hey, it was really good to see the 1908. Rolex's new watches for 2023, inspired by the past, which is also a weird thing to say with Rolex. When it came to Tudor, it was very good to see the new Black Bay 41, the new Metas certified watch.
Having a dig at Omega 100% surely.
The new GMT with the opaline dial, that was really nice. Not white, not silver, in between. You could see what the watches look like on your wrist, which I think was a really good feature. There weren't too many stalls around Watches and Wonders. You could just touch and feel straight away. The big watch I wanted to see was the Black Bay 54. Personally, probably it's the best watch I saw in the whole thing, other than that chocolatey brown Patek Philippe Nautilus chronograph flyback. Something I'll never have in my lifetime. I love Andrew Morgan's latest show, and I totally agree with one of his opinions, which are people on the outside want something extravagant. They want complications. They want the watch to look different. When deep down in our souls, we really want something simple, simplistic, with a big nod to the best watches made in the past. So on one hand, releasing this reissue of the 1954 Tudor Sub is a very boring move. The other hand, who the heck would have thought anyone would have come out with a 37mm dive watch? Even though I think it was probably the best watch of Watches and Wonders 2023, there were some things I didn't like. This crown was too small for me, and it didn't have the upside down red triangle at 12 o'clock like my Black Bay 58. It looked a little bit more sterile, and it's lost a bit of character, but if I was given it, I wouldn't say no. Well, for me, I thought it was fantastic. And my most favourite thing of all, I got to meet some of you subscribers. I know that the channel has been seen by quite a few people. I know that there were quite a few people in the day going, "Is he that mad one off YouTube?" And possibly a bit too scared coming to say hello. But at the end of the day, I do these shows for you guys and love to put the faces next to the names of your profiles. Like you, Guns of Spore in 97. It was great to catch up. All in all, Watches and Wonders 2023 was a fantastic thing to go and see. We did so much more in the day that was captured by Gavin from That Watch Guy London. Please go over to That Watch Guy London and subscribe. Check out the live shows every Monday at 8 PM and you'll get to see a more detailed look at what we actually got up to. I'm truly grateful to Gavin for organising this outing, and with him and Kaylee, I couldn't think of two better people to go and see a lot of watches with. If you haven't liked this show yet, please give it a like, and if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you check this show out? Oh, it could be, I mean, I don't know what it is, it's random for you. This is a perfect show for you, apparently. It could be my prediction show. Did I get any predictions right? Crikey, I need to look at it myself, but go on, click it. Click it!